First of all, I want to welcome everybody here tonight. I know that in the middle of July, it doesn't seem like we're quite ready for fall sports, but believe it or not, we're going to be starting up here real quick. And as we get going, school starts up, and August goes pretty quick, and September rolls around, and before you know it, you're in the middle of your cross-country season, or soccer season, or swimming season, whatever it might be, and next thing you know, it's almost time to be complete. So thank you very much for coming. My name is Paul Ackley. I'm the athletic director here at McFarland High School. Many of you know me. Some are new faces here. And speaking of new faces, we have some new faces in our school district with our administration. We are very pleased, I am very pleased that they took the time to come here tonight. I'm going to introduce them quickly. They'll say a few words to you folks so you can get to know them. Obviously, activities and athletics are a huge part of the success of the McFarland School District. And I'm very pleased and very blessed that we brought in two gentlemen as a principal and a superintendent that have extensive background in activities, co-curriculars, and athletics. And it's crucial because I know how important those are in our school district and in our community. So I'm first going to introduce to you our new superintendent, Andrew Burdell. He'll say a few things to you folks. And then next, our principal, Jeff Finstead. So, Superintendent, Mr. Burdell.
Good evening, and thank you. It's great to be here with you this evening. My name is Andrew Burdell, and I'm delighted to be joining the district as your new superintendent, following Scott Brown. As Paul mentioned, I have a background that's rich with activities as a former music teacher. And I taught middle school and high school band for many years. And then when I moved into administration, one of my first roles was to be an activities director at the high school where I had been teaching. And at the beginning of every year, I had the opportunity to speak to the incoming 9th grade students. And I always told them as an activities director, I always said the most important thing you can do is get involved in extracurriculars in school. Being involved in athletics and activities is such an important thing to do to be successful. We have important things to do in a classroom, and we have important things to do in athletics and activities as well. So I'm really glad to see everybody here. And I'd also just like to say that I'm also here tonight as a dad, as my daughter is signing up for a sport this evening as well. So welcome. Thanks again. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to introduce Jeff Finstead, our new high school principal.
Thank you. Probably kind of fitting that my first event in public as a principal here is an athletic event. To say athletics has been important to me is probably an understatement. I can say that by saying that I've assumed every single role everyone in this room is sitting in right now. As an athlete in high school, I played football. I played center. We were very good and pretty small, so it's not going to be a lot. I also played hockey. I played golf and ran track one year, and I got to admit, I ran track to impress a girl. It works. I married her. She was my football coach's daughter, so if you really want to live life on the edge, date your football coach's daughter. I also coached hockey for over 20 years. I served 9 years as head hockey coach at Rice Lake and 4 years in Ashland, and had several years as an assistant coach in the Minnesota area. To the athletes, I'd ask you a couple things. First of all, when you join the sport, remember why you joined. It's a game. It's fun. That's why you're here. That's why you participate. Don't ever lose sight that it's supposed to be fun. I'd ask you to embrace your role. Somebody will be the superstars and go-to players and have a ball in their hands. We get that publicity, that's great. Embrace that. You want the ball. Somebody will be contributors, role players. Embrace that. Know that you are equally important. Whether it's playing great defense, swimming the anchor, whatever it may be, you got to know that that's your role. But probably the most important role we forget about is people who practice, and they're the practice players. You're not all going to get equal time. But that role as a practice player is hugely important because you are pushing the people in front of you, making them better. So when your team achieves success, you played a very important part of that. I'd also ask the athletes one more thing. Your coaches are going to tell you over and over and over again, give it all you got. Leave it all on the court. Leave it all on the pool. Leave it all on the field. Leave it all out there. I'm going to ask you one thing. Don't forget to take something back with you. You know, in all my years at Rice Lake, I had seniors give speeches at our banquet in the year. Probably 120 athletes go through that speech. Maybe one or two even talked about hockey or talked about games. The other 118 talked about the bus trips there and back. So that's a note to you to ride the bus home. It's fun. They talked about staying in hotels. They talked about their friendships. Take something away from the game. Don't just give it all. To the parents, I'm going to ask you to support your athletes. Get the games, drive them to practice, pick them up, be positive. I ask you to encourage them. You know what's going on, keep their head up, listen to their coaches, do the best you can, always be positive. The last thing I ask the parents to do is remember when they're watching these events, the high school kids. They're not pros, they're not college athletes. They're high school kids doing the best they can. Let's cheer them on. Have a great season. Go Spartans.
Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. Some good words of advice. Obviously, you can see we brought in two gentlemen that have extensive backgrounds in activities and athletics, so I feel very excited about that. Two other people that are here tonight that I want you to get to know. They've been here before, but again, it's just good to kind of remind you of the administration here at our school. Mr. Giovanetti, our assistant principal, and he was the one handing out the folders, so thank you, Mr. Giovanetti, for being here. And then Mrs. Nichols, and she's an assistant principal as well at the school. Teacher here in our community for many years, and also an alumni of McFarland as well. So thank you very much, all of you, to be here, for being here, and giving up your time for a very important meeting. Okay, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this thing right now, and I want to go through that folder that I gave you. I'm not really a podium guy, so I'm going to walk around and kind of talk and go through this with you. And the first thing we're going to do is just kind of slowly but surely kind of let you know what these forms are. And some are going to be, all of them are important, some are going to be turned in tonight. A lot of the forms that we used to turn in are now on online registration, new this year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get going. First one, Parental Guide to Sportsmanship from the WIAA. I just ask that you look through that. We always encourage good sportsmanship at our events from our parents, coaches, and athletes. So please take a chance to look through that. A new pamphlet that I printed off this year. I was on the internet looking through some things, and the role of the parents in athletics. Gives some good, helpful hints of how to parent during this time. It can be stressful, it can be emotional, it can be gratifying, it can be frustrating. So just some helpful information for you to go through this as a parent. Even do it with your child so that they're kind of aware of what you're going through and how you are going to parent to the best of your ability through their athletic experience. Kind of the salmon-colored piece of paper is the concussion testing. All right, this is going to be coming up very quickly, tomorrow and Friday, for the sports of football, volleyball, and soccer. If you can't make those baseline testing with our athletic trainer, Jay Hansen, there is a makeup date at 3 p.m. on that, looks like Friday, the 17th of July. And if that doesn't work for you, I ask that you contact Jay or email him and let him know that you were not able to attend those and that you can sign up for another time or set up another appointment with him. Is that correct, Jay?
Yeah, I'll be setting up future dates closer to the start of practice.
So setting up future dates closer to the time of practice. So we would prefer you go to these, but if your schedule does not allow you to do that, then obviously you can go to the other ones. The pink sheet, okay, talks about communication. Something that is crucial in athletics and your child's 4 years here at McFarland High School in academics and athletics. You've seen this before if you're a parent here. It's kind of our communication flowchart. Talks to you about how we would prefer you communicate any issues, frustrations or problems that you have within your child's sport. First and foremost, please encourage your athlete to go talk to their coach. Try to resolve it between the athlete and the coach. That would be the best that we could do. You're developing assets, skills for your young person to get better at as they get older. Life is going to throw them curveballs, things are going to happen, and they're going to have to learn to talk to adults. They're going to have to learn to have those conversations, and that's important for you to support. If for some reason that doesn't work, or maybe it just doesn't feel comfortable doing that, then I want the parent and the athlete to go talk to the coach. That's important. Parent and athlete talk to the coach. You can call me, you can call Mr. Finstead, you could call Mr. Pianetti or Mrs. Nichols, but they're not going to be able to help you. And the first thing they're going to ask you, did you talk to the coach? That's crucial. All right? And then you can follow down the flow chart as you see necessary. On the back of this page, there's just some tips for positive communication. Okay? I said it earlier. Sports are very emotional. Okay? Just high emotion. My best advice to you is this. 24 hours. If you're angry about something or frustrated about something, you're best off giving yourself, the coach, the athlete, some breathing room. 24 hours, you'll get a better frame of mind, the coach will get a better frame of mind, and then I think you'll have a better conversation. Don't sit at your keyboard at 11 o'clock at night, frustrated and angry, and type up an email and send it off to the coach that you're going to regret. That does nobody any good. So please, follow this to the best of your ability so that we can have a positive conversation from any type of incident or situation that would arise. Okay? The next one, this blue sheet. Very, very important for tonight. Okay? So part of the registration process is coming to this meeting. Now I realize that not everybody can come to the meeting, so we're going to put it out as a YouTube link later on, but you don't have to watch it because you're here. As long as you fill this out, okay, the back of it, just say, this is my name, this is my child, this is the date, and this is the sport that he or she is in. This is kind of a crib sheet to our athletic coach, which I'll be going over later on tonight. This sheet will get turned in to me tonight in this box. Color coordinated blue that says key points. So before you leave tonight, please make sure that you put that sheet in this box top. Then I will have my assistant, Jessica Lukey, go on to Hippman campus and check off that you were at the large group meeting. If your child participates in another sport this year, you do not have to come here and listen to me again for 45 minutes. Thank goodness. All right? One time per a school year. Okay? So that's an important sheet. Also, just some other things that I feel are important. 16 tips for positive parenting. I've had this in the folder for quite some time. I just think it's a great piece of advice for you, for coaches and athletes. And on the back, something new this year that I found about the ideal sport parent. Just trying to provide you with resources to help you get through a very, very important part of your child's life and your life. Blue sheet, another one, transportation form. If you are going to take your child home from an event, which we don't really want you to do, to be real honest with you, but if you do, if we realize things come up, this is the form that you need to fill out. There's 2 of them on one sheet. You can reproduce them for yourself at home, or you can go onto our school district sports website, which I'll show you later, and print it off. This sheet, the half sheet, would go to the coach after the event. You give it to them, and you are only allowed to transport your child. Okay? Performance enhancing drugs or banned substances. Half the things on here we can't spell or pronounce, but they're illegal for our kids to be using. So these sport-enhancing shakes or protein things, or these, monster fuel things that jack these kids up and get them all ready to go, you better look at the ingredients, okay? Go up to Menominee about 2 years ago. There were some football players, I believe, that were just taking some supplements that they thought were okay. Somebody caught wind of it, turned them into the WIA, and those kids had to sit out. My guess is this: if your mom or dad make it, just eat it. You don't need to go out and get all these shakes and monster fuels and all this other stuff. You don't need it. Okay? You got adrenaline, use it. All right? So just become familiar with this, please. A yellow sheet, and we're almost done with this portion of the meeting. The yellow sheet is the HIPAA form. Okay? HIPAA is a medical consent form that you need to have turned in. Now, you may have already done this. If you did it last year, we don't need to do it again. One time for 4 years. What this does, it allows Jay Hansen, our trainer. Do you want to stand up so everybody sees your bright, smiling face? Okay, there's Jay. He makes our kids healthy, safe, and strong. So, let's say your child has an injury of some sort. Concussion, blown out knee, sprained ankle, dislocated shoulder, whatever it might be, that may inhibit their learning. If you sign this form, Jay can talk to the child's teacher and let them know of the injury, so that we could modify or at least kind of give an idea of what's going on with this child. All right? If we don't have this form signed, Jay can't talk to the teachers about your child's sports injury. So it's up to you. It's an option. Doesn't have to be turned in. Doesn't have to be filled out. But if you do, that would be great. And I have a yellow box right here that says HIPAA medical release form. And you go ahead and put this in here at the end of the meeting. Last form, green. All right? We have a student athletic pass that you can purchase for $20. It gets put on a little ticket, gets put on their ID, school ID. When we get those issued, they get into the games for free then. It typically costs athletes $2 to get into the events. We have about 35 to 40 home events for admission-paying sports like volleyball, football, basketball, other sports that have admission paying. All right? If you have your ID, if you signed up for this through our registration process, school registration, not sports registration, they're two different things, then that just goes on your ID, kid comes to the game, shows it, and they get in, and they don't have to pay. It's pretty beneficial, and I would highly recommend, because it allows your kids to attend the activities in which we want them to be at, for good school spirit. All right. So, the only two forms that you have to turn in tonight after this meeting, the blue form for the key points of the athletic code, and the HIPAA form, if you choose to do that, and those will be turned in these front boxes down here. Any questions on the forms? Okay, yes. Go ahead.
If we have multiple athletes, can we just one form for each athlete?
No. For the key points, if you have multiple kids in sports, just put their names on there and the sports that they do. And then for the HIPAA form, no, you will need to fill out one for each child.
Okay.
And I do have extra HIPAA forms here. Thank you for that question. Anything else? Okay, Mason, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Why don't you go ahead and we've read this screen. I have it on here at the very first part of the meeting every single time. Being involved in a team is not your God-given right as an athlete or a student in a school. It's a privilege. And with that privilege comes responsibilities and expectations. We ask all athletes to understand that. And we ask that they understand that they are looked at as leaders in this community and leaders in this school. They're able to represent us outside the school day. They could be on the news. They could be in the newspaper. They could have a quote. And these are things that your typical student might not have the opportunity to have. But if you're on a sports team, it gives you that opportunity. And with that comes responsibilities. So please be aware of that. Basically, if you switch it, that'd be great. All right, so new this year. Many of you have done this already. We've had over 150 people already register online. Just curiosity's sake, raise your hand if you felt that was a very helpful and easy process. Outstanding. Good. Awesome. If you haven't done it yet, you can do it tonight before you go. We have laptops in the food court that you can use, or you can do it at your home as long as you get it done before your child's first practice. We can't have them practice unless you get them fully registered. So, we have a sports fee here. It's $92, all right? The sports registration is now online through Infinite Campus. You go to the parent portal, you click on your inbox where you have like 500 or 700 or 15,000 emails, all right? That's just how it is. But you need to find the one that has a red exclamation point and it says Sports Registration Fall. Click on that and that'll start you through the process of registering your child for a sport. You fill out your name, address, emergency contact information, any allergies, medications, things of that nature. You will sign off by checking the box for the concussion form, which is a state law. All right, you'll sign off, student and athlete, or student and parent, I apologize. And then you will also sign off on the athletic code. I realize parents could just go on there by themselves and click that, yes, my child will follow the athletic code. It's one way of doing it. It's not the greatest way. A better way would be to sit down with your child, look through the athletic code, understand it, and then make sure your child understands it so when you do sign off on it, you know the rules of our code. So nothing has, for athletics, the code is very similar to what we've had in the past. We have incorporated some activities into that code now, but for athletics, it stayed the same. And we'll talk about that later. You need to get your emergency information, the concussion and the code are all set. And if you're new to our school district, there are some WIAA transfer rules that we need to make sure we're following. Basically, the rule is, if you transferred here from another city or open enrolled here from another city and you have completed 4 semesters at another school, there's a process that we have to go through with the WIAA, and potentially you could sit out for 1 year. That's called the transfer rule in the WIAA. So with that, if you're new to our community or new to our school, that would be something you have to think about. If you have a change of permanent residency, meaning I lived in Deerfield or Janesville and my family got relocated to Madison and we now live in McFarland, then you're fine. Whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. Okay? Any questions on online registration? I'm glad that it went easy, and I'm glad that it went smooth. Remember, all of this stuff needs to be in before your child can practice. So please do that. If you have an issue or a problem with the fee, please email me, let me know, and we can work that out. Please take advantage of that. Yes, Ms. Martin?
Are we paying online as well?
You can. And I have taken off the surcharge for your credit card so that you won't get that additional $1.50 or $2 surcharge on your credit card. So yes, you can pay online. The only form that you have to turn into us is the green physical form. I still need a doctor's signature. I still need a date of the exam. I still need a parent's signature. All right? So that's really through the registration process. There's 2 forms you turn in. One you'll do tonight, the key points form. And then if your physical is good still, you don't have to do that. Please remember, physicals are good for 2 years. If your child's physical is dated after 3/31 of 2014, it's fine for this school year. Okay, 3/31 of 2014, dated after that. So April, May, June, July, yada, yada, yada. Okay, you're fine. All right? All right, Mason, next slide, please. Health insurance. Most families have health insurance that cover their child in an accident, but if you do not, the school will provide you with a low-cost health insurance. Again, it's an online process. You can do that, and then I can give you that information. Thank you, Mason. Athletic code. Basically, this is our document that gives you our expectations, our rules, our philosophies of the athletic department. There are 3 different types of policies in this athletic code. You have policy 1, which deals with alcohol, tobacco, possession, sale of illegal drugs, situations like that. Policy 2 is more personal conduct type information, okay? And then policy 3 is, school attendance, transportation, things of that nature. So basically, if you go to policy 1, that'd be great. So policy 1, we talk about drug and alcohol violations. Please read the code so you're familiar with this. Possession is something that is part of this. So I've been in situations in the past where pictures are sent to us or we're given information and the child has something in their hand that they shouldn't. Well, my kid's not drinking that. Well, they're possessing it. All right, so therefore it's still a violation of our athletic code. All right, so just be aware of that, please. It's 20% for the first violation, 40% and 50%, and please take note of the sentence underneath there. This is something we've had in the code now for 2 years, I believe. If your child gets a policy 1 violation during the season, so from the start, very first day of practice to the end of the WIAA state tournament. All right? If they get a policy 1 violation during that time, our coaches are not going to put them up for all conference, or all region, or all district, or all state, or captain, or MVP, or those types of postseason awards. Why do we feel that way? Because these kids are, again, representing us. And we don't think it's a great idea to put forth those kids if they made that choice during the season. So I see a lot of heads kind of going like this, which I appreciate. It's not an easy decision, but it's something that I think is important for our kids to know. So athletes, I hope you were listening during that time, because I know the parents were. We have an assessment. So if you could go to the next slide, Mason. Our assessment is, I will send a letter home if this situation occurs in your family. You'll be aware of this well before I send a letter home, trust me. We'll have conversations and talk about it. If you get a letter home, that's the date of formal notification, so therefore you have to set up an assessment. The assessment can either be through third millennium classes, it's an online class that we have the kids go through, it's a $35 cost, or it's a meeting with a counselor at UW Health through their Adolescent and Alcohol Drug Awareness Program. They go to that meeting, they meet with a counselor, the parent is involved, and therefore, if everything goes well, and the counselor doesn't feel that there's any need for more meetings, they'll send me a letter that says so-and-so has completed this and we feel there's no need for further meetings. That appointment needs to be set up within 2 weeks of when you get that letter home. I've been in situations where they put it off and put it off and put it off. And then all of a sudden it gets lost in the shuffle. If parents refuse to do this, then we add 10% onto the suspension. We feel it's important that they get help if needed. This might not be the first time your child drank or smoked marijuana or did something illegal. Maybe it's just the first time they got caught. So therefore, we want to try to help you through that process, educate the child, educate the family, and hopefully make it a better situation for everybody involved. Okay? Mason, you can click ahead. So again, those are the 2 programs that we provide here at the school. Okay, Mason? Go ahead, Mason. Okay, yeah, that's just a website that the third millennium class would be. And if it's an alcohol infraction or violation, then it would be an alcohol class. If it was a marijuana infraction, it would be a marijuana class that they would take. Okay. Policy 2, personal conduct violations. You can see that some of those are listed. We have a first offense, second offense, and third offense. Again, those are percentages of the scheduled events in the season, not including WIAA events. All right? Scheduled events. You can look at that. And again, this is all in your code, and we ask that you look through it with your child. Okay, next slide, please. Academic. So we talk about grades. We know that the student athlete is a student first and athlete second. So it's very important that we understand the eligibility rule for fall sports. We take their second semester term grades. If you have below a 1.75 at the end of the second semester, or you fail the class, you should be in summer school right now to be eligible. Okay, that would help you become eligible. Summer school classes can replace Fs or boost GPAs. If you didn't do that, okay, or summer school didn't help you, then you're going to be out 21 consecutive calendar days, beginning with the first date of competition determined by the WIAA. That grid is right in the athletic code. It will tell you exactly what date you're eligible if you have an academic situation for fall sports. Winter and spring sports, we take the grading period from the first grading period, which is going to be what we call a progress grade. Okay, because we're semester-based here at McFarland High School, but we have a progress grade, which is about what I consider a quarter grade at the end of the first quarter. Whatever that grade is at progress, I take it, because that's the most up-to-date grade that you have. If it's an F, or your grade point from those grades is below 1.75, you're ineligible for 15 scheduled school days. Okay? So just be aware of those academic rules, please. Okay, Mason. Attendance, so now we're falling into kind of policy 3 violations here, or policy 3 situations. Attendance. We need to have the students in school all day long in order to practice and compete. It's very important. If they have a scheduled doctor's appointment, a driver's test, heaven forbid a court appearance, but they may have that. Other things that are difficult to schedule, whatever it might be, dentists, that's pre-approved. Okay? You can shoot me an email and say, hey, Caitlin's got a dentist appointment today. I couldn't schedule it around it, but she'll be back right after the dentist appointment. Wonderful. We understand that. Just get them back to school. If your child sleeps in, which could happen, right? You guys are up going to work, all right, but the child sleeps in, and then all of a sudden you call in to Katie Lowry at the front office or Alicia and say, hey, so-and-so, Jamie, she was excused, we had an appointment this morning, but we know darn well she just slept in. Try to realize that that's not sending the best message to our children and our athletes, okay? So please talk to your athlete, make sure that they're being responsible, get them to school all day long, okay, so that they can compete in practice and play in the contest that day. All right? Any questions on attendance? Because I know that can get kind of tricky sometimes. Okay, very good. Next one, Mason. Transportation, we talked about this. We have Nelson's Busing Company as our transportation provider. Again, we want them to ride to the contest on our buses and back with our buses, with our team on the bus. That's an important part of being a teammate. We understand that things come up, so please fill out that blue sheet that you have in your folder, and that would suffice to give them permission to go with you. Please remember, you can't take other children home with you. You can only transport your own child. All right, Mason. Early release, you got to be passing all classes in order to get out of school early. In the fall, it doesn't really affect us all that much, but in the spring, it does. So if you are a spring sport athlete, you need to be in school you need to be passing all your classes to get out early. Okay? Next. Students that are struggling academically, we will have a study table after school. We're not quite sure what room that's going to be in yet, but we will have something available for students to get help. But we also encourage the student athlete to go to their teacher in which the class they're struggling in to get that help. Coaches, we just had a coaches meeting at 4 o'clock today. I instructed the coaches to make sure that they communicate with the parent and the athlete about that, and that we're not, sacrificing playing time because the kid is choosing to go get some help in a math class or a history class. That they communicate. And please get to practice after your help is over. All right? Because practices will run later in the evening and you can still attend your practice to be there for the team. Okay, Mason. Concussions, you signed off on the consent. The biggest thing you have to understand with concussions is this. You can't clear them. Greg's just fine. Go on in and play some football. Okay? Can't do that. Jay, as much as I love him, can't clear a kid to play after a concussion. It has to be a doctor. Okay? We have to have a doctor's note. Can't be a chiropractor. Nothing against chiropractors. One of my best friends is a chiropractor. But it can't be a chiropractor. I've had that question before. Okay, thank you, Mr. White. But it has to be a doctor. Okay? So please, a medical doctor, making sure that you're a physician. So please make sure that that's taken care of. If you feel your child has concussion-like symptoms, you need to call Jay. You need to talk to him. You need to communicate with the coach and the trainer so that we stay on top of it. All right? Please. And that should really be for any injury that your child gets throughout the sporting season. All right? All right, Mason? Okay, very quickly, Mason, if you just want to click on this that link there, Champions of Character, and then down on the right-hand side, there's a little thing there. If you could go to the very last one. I just try to play these videos to give you some helpful tools for parenting. This one is called Time and Space. So go ahead and play that one, Mason, and then we can go to full screen.
I am a champion of character. I am a champion of character.
I am a champion of character.
I am a champion of character.
What is your best athletic or high school activity memory so far?
I would say my best memory was coming from behind to win our conference championship my sophomore year. It seemed like we were done for, but all of a sudden things started going our way.
My best memory was winning the state championship last year. Our school and entire community were behind us. That is something I'll never forget.
Those are great memories, but what would be your worst memory so far?
Before I got my license, I hated to ride home after games. No matter if we won or lost, it seemed my dad always had something negative to say.
After I got my license, I waited till my mom and dad went to bed before I came home. I just didn't want to hear the complaints after the match.
Hello, my name is Dr. Robert Hayward. The goal of the Champions of Character process is to teach character through sport. In talking to young athletes all around the country, our process has found that there are some things that parents can do to help sports and activities build character. Over the years, the Champions of Character process has examined the role of parents in high school activities. During these years, one message came back loud and clear. Give your competitor time following a contest, and give your competitor space following a contest. When former athletes are asked about their least enjoyable memory about their playing experience, many respond that it was the ride home following a game. For athletes, the contests are the rewards of preparation, win or lose. After a week of practice, the contest is their time to shine and to find out how much they have developed as an athlete. The ride home is when parents take most of the joy out of playing. It's when parents tear down their child's teammates, or their child's coach. It is a time when parents blame everyone for a loss. It is where many teams are torn apart. The ride home is where you need to be a parent, not a coach, not an official, and certainly not an opponent. In order for the Champions of Character process to work, parents must give their athlete time and space following their contest. Athletics is a wonderful place to learn the value of relationships. Without relationships, there can be no team. The ride home is where relationships are torn apart. All too often, parents tear down the team concept on the ride home. Parents say such things as, I can't believe the coach did that. I can't believe she did this. What was he thinking when he took those shots? Your offense is not working. Your defense is not working. If I were your coach, parents should be a source of confidence in the team concept. They should be supporting the relationship of the team in the following circumstances. When the competitor played well, but the team lost. When the competitor played poorly, that the team won, when the competitor participated very little or not at all. Parents should wait until the competitor is receptive to interaction before discussing any aspect of a contest. When a competitor comes to you, listen. Rephrase their question back to them. For example, if a competitor asks why he or she is not getting to participate, ask them why they think they are not getting to participate, and then listen. Remember, let the competitor bring the contest to you.
I hate the ride home after a performance. My parents are always on me about something.
Not mine. My parents are always on my coach and my teammates.
You know who I like to ride home with? My grandparents. Win or lose, they're always there to watch me run.
I know what you mean. After my last game, my grandma went on and on about how good I looked at my warm-ups.
I wish I could get my parents to do that. Most of the time I feel like they connect my play with the outcome of the match. We win, I'm a winner. We lose, I'm a loser.
My parents don't say that, but I feel it many times.
I wish just once after a match my parents told me that they enjoyed watching me compete, and that regardless of the outcome, that I wrestled like a champion of character.
And
regardless of the outcome, I played like a champion of character.
All right, so again, I just try to provide you some resources, some information, some research-based stuff that we can bring to you, that this is what we're seeing in sports around America. Some things may or may not be relevant or be really what is going on in your family, but I think it's just a good reminder. Next slide, please, Mason. A really good website that I want to share quickly is the top one, about changingthegameproject.com. It's a wonderful website. It gives you a ton of articles, good resources, things to look at. There's a bunch of different things in there. Some professional sports athletes have written some things. Just, again, if you're on your iPad or on your laptop at home or whatever you have, just another good resource for you to be a good parent, to be a good athlete, to kind of deal with some of the pressures, some of the issues that are going on in youth sports. So a ton of different things that you can look at. Okay, thank you, Mason. We're almost finished, folks. We can go to the next slide. We talked about our student athletic pass. Again, that is available during school registration. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, new today, fresh, hot off the press, is our new school website. It still is going to be the link of www.mcfarland.k12 and so on. And you look at the, let's give Michelle Eversole a round of applause for her hard work. Okay, now, we might be applauding now, but when we navigate through this as something new in technology, the applause might not be quite there. So let me just try to show you some easy tips for this. At the very top, you can see Mason has gone to schools. We have our elementary campus, Wapisa, Indian Mountain, and then McFarland High School. Once you get to McFarland High School, you scroll down and you go right to sports. You click on that link. It should take you to our sports webpage. We'll have pictures cycling through there of all of our team sports from last year. All right? And you can use this calendar down here if you'd like to see a schedule. So let's go down to girls golf and just highlight girls golf, and then go back down and go to August. Click next. And then we'll have a girls golf event on there. That would be like a calendar looking thing. If you click on the girls golf, it will tell you what the event is and where it is. That's kind of a way to do it, but there's a better way, to be honest with you. So you can click off that, Mace. All right, and you go over to the left-hand side where it says sports, boys teams, co-ed teams, and girls teams. So let's go to boys teams. All right, let's go to soccer. Soccer will be an active link. It has the team picture from last year. It has the coach's name, the conference, the season, and the start date. And it also gives you how to earn a letter. On the right-hand side, it gives you varsity, JV1 and JV2. Those are our levels of soccer here in McFarland. and those are your schedules. So if we click on the varsity link, it'll go right to our school website. It'll give you the activity, which is obviously soccer, the location, the who we're playing, what time it's at, and then the bus time over on the far right. You can download this information, you can email it, you can print it. This is your team's schedule. And that's the best way to figure it out. Mostly. I would say they're 97.8% complete. Okay? They're really, really close. We're still trying to get some events for some of our sports, but most of them are very complete. Are there? Yes, fall sports are complete. The winter and spring I'm still working on, but primarily complete. So then to get out of there, you would just click out. And if you go down to the bottom on the left-hand side, you can see that code of conduct. If you would like a printable version or an Adobe file, if you click on that, then you can go ahead and it would download the code of conduct. All right? Concussion form, parent transportation form, uniform care information, and our WIAA physical card. You can get these forms at school as well, but you can also access them on our website. So, we're learning it. It's new to everybody, but I think it's going to be pretty slick. If you have any questions about it, you can let me know. Okay? Let's go to the next slide, Mason. The WIAA website is just an informational website for you for postseason tournament rules. We are part of the WIAA as a member high school. If you have questions about that, you can always access their website. If you go to sports, you can pick the sport your child is in and you can find some tournament dates or things of that nature. Okay? Next one. Next slide. And then we have some contact information. As of right now, Mr. Finstead does not have a cell phone that has a 608 area code. So we will get that information out to you as soon as possible. Coming from Waupun, I believe it was a 920 area code. So we're trying to get him into the Dane County area, I guess, or this area code. Mr. Piavanetti, myself, Mr. Finstead, and then obviously Mrs. Nichols too. So I apologize for not having her name on there. Next, please. Okay, so we had our team meetings. We had cross-country, soccer, swimming, and volleyball already taken care of. So you met with your coaches. And now we are going on to football, golf, and tennis. Those are the times. I'm a little bit behind. I apologize for that. But football folks will stay here. Before we go, though, I just have two more announcements. Girls golf will be in room 142, and girls tennis is in room 110. Two things. Don't forget, key points of the athletic code, turn it into this box, please. Okay? And a HIPAA form in this box. Thank you, folks. We really appreciate that.